Welcome to the CISO Daily Update.
Sav-Rx discloses data breach impacting 2.8 million Americans. Prescription management company Sav-Rx disclosed a data breach that compromised the personal information of 2.8 million Americans. The breach impacted employers, unions, and other organizations and was discovered on October 8, 2023. Despite minimal operational disruption and timely prescription shipments, the investigation took 8 months and identified that initial access by the threat actor was gained on October 3, 2023. Exposed data includes names, birth dates, social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, eligibility data, and insurance IDs. In response, Sav-Rx implemented security measures such as a 24/7 security operations center, multi-factor authentication, network segmentation, enhanced geo-blocking, upgraded firewalls, and BitLocker encryption. The company provided affected individuals with a 2-year credit monitoring and identity theft protection service. Google shares details on accidental file deletion that impacts pension funds accounts. Google Cloud recently disclosed an incident involving the accidental deletion of a customer's Google Cloud VMware Engine private cloud, impacting UniSuper, an Australian pension fund. The deletion stemmed from a misconfiguration by Google operators during deployment, leaving a parameter blank, which triggered the cloud to default to a fixed term with automatic deletion. No customer notification was issued, as the deletion was initiated internally. While recovery efforts were successful, criticism from tech experts reinforced the importance of more comprehensive preventive measures and off-site backups. The U.S. moves a step closer to a cyber force. The U.S. is moving closer to establishing a separate cyber force, as the House Armed Services Committee has approved language authorizing a National Academy of Sciences study on the issue. This comes after years of concerns over the nation's cyberspace defenses currently handled by the U.S. Cyber Command. Challenges cited include issues with cyber training, staffing, retention, lack of a singular approach, and misaligned service incentives and cultures. While Cybercom is implementing initiatives like Cybercom 2.0 and enhanced budgetary control to address these gaps, experts argue an independent cyber force is needed to resolve deep-rooted problems. The approved study brings the possibility of a new armed service branch dedicated to cyber warfare a step closer, though its establishment likely won't happen before fiscal 2027, if at all. New ATM malware family emerged in the threat landscape. A new ATM malware family has emerged targeting Europe and potentially posing a significant threat globally. Advertised in the cybercrime underground for $30,000, the malware, dubbed EU ATM malware, claims to compromise 99% of European ATMs and about 60% of ATMs worldwide. It targets machines from leading vendors such as Diebold Nixdorf, Hyosung, Oki, Bank of America, NCR, GRG, and Hitachi. The malware is fully automated for ease of deployment, but also supports manual operation. The developer asserts that it can generate up to $30,000 per ATM and offers multiple payment options, including a subscription model and profit sharing from successful operations. Ransomware attack hits medical device manufacturer. Medical device manufacturer Livanova suffered a ransomware attack claimed by the Lockbit gang. The compromised data includes sensitive personal information of current and former employees, including names, contact details, social security numbers, dates of birth, financial account information, health insurance data, and employment records. Upon detecting the incident on October 26, 2023, Livanova took response measures, including system shutdowns and password resets. The company offers affected individuals 2 years of free identity protection and credit monitoring services. A high-severity vulnerability affects Cisco Firepower Management Center. Cisco addressed a high-severity SQL injection vulnerability, CVE 2024-20360, CVSS score 8.8, affecting the web-based management interface of the Firepower Management Center software. An authenticated remote attacker could exploit this flaw by sending crafted SQL queries to obtain data from the database, execute arbitrary commands on the underlying operating system, and escalate privileges to the root level. The vulnerability exists due to improper validation of user input in the web interface. To be exploited, the attacker needs at least read-only user credentials. Cisco confirmed the vulnerability does not impact Adaptive Security Appliance or Firepower threat defense software. No workarounds are available, and attacks have not been observed in the wild. Organizations using affected FMC versions should urgently apply the patch provided by Cisco to mitigate potential threats. SingCERT warns critical vulnerabilities found in multiple WordPress plugins. SingCERT issued an alert about 9 critical vulnerabilities found in multiple WordPress plugins, emphasizing the urgent need for users to take immediate action. These vulnerabilities, including arbitrary file uploads and SQL injection, pose significant risks by allowing unauthorized access and exploitation. The affected plugins include Copymatic AI Content Writer, PyRegister Social Sites Login, Hashform Drag-and-Drop Form Builder, Country State City, Dropdown CF7, WP Zoom add-ons for Elementor, Business Directory plugin, User Pro plugin, Fluent Forms Contact Form, and Web Directory Free plugin. Users are strongly advised to update to the latest versions of these plugins and implement mitigation strategies such as virtual patching to protect their websites. LangChain JS Framework Vulnerability let hackers read arbitrary file on servers. A cybersecurity researcher discovered a high-risk vulnerability in the LangChain JS framework that allows attackers to read arbitrary files on servers using the framework. LangChain, widely used for integrating large language models into applications, contains an arbitrary file read issue due to improper input validation of user-supplied URLs. Exploiting this flaw via server-side request forgery, attackers can craft malicious URLs to access sensitive server files, potentially leading to further additional attacks, such as cross-site scripting. Despite the framework's popularity, with over 11,000 stars and 380,000 weekly downloads, the LangChain documentation lacks specific guidelines for secure URL handling. To mitigate this risk, developers should implement strict input validation, restrict URL fetching to trusted domains, block access to sensitive URL schemas, and employ network segmentation to limit internal resource access. GNOME Remote Desktop Vulnerability let attackers read login credentials. A critical vulnerability, CVE 2024-5148 in GNOME Remote Desktop version 46, allowed attackers to read login credentials due to system daemon flaws. The daemon stored public SSL certificates and private keys in an accessible directory, enabling local users to intercept private SSL keys via the dbus interface. Attackers could exploit this to gain unauthenticated access to the daemon and retrieve system credentials, potentially leading to a denial of service or unauthorized access. Although fixed in the latest release, users are urged to update promptly to mitigate risks. Human error still perceived as the Achilles heel of cybersecurity. The 2024 Voice of the CISO report by Proofpoint reveals that while 70% of CISOs feel at risk of a material cyber attack in the next year, their confidence in defending against threats is increasing, with only 43% feeling unprepared compared to 61% in 2023. Human error remains the perceived Achilles heel at 74%, but there's optimism in AI-powered solutions to mitigate human-centric risks. Top concerns include ransomware at 41%, malware at 38%, and email fraud at 36%. 81% believe they have adequate data protection controls despite data loss incidents. CISOs face challenges like burnout with 53%, excessive expectations with 66%, and economic pressures, but 84% agree with their boards on cybersecurity issues. Digital ID adoption, implementation, and security concerns. According to Regula, businesses are increasingly implementing digital ID technologies to enhance security and efficiency. Digital identity, which encompasses personal information, credentials, and attributes for online authentication, promises to improve service security, reduce fraud, and streamline access to public services. The technology is expected to revolutionize sectors requiring secure identity verification, with significant benefits anticipated in online financial transactions, account openings, and e-commerce. A Forrester Consulting study indicates that 81% of large enterprises are aware of digital IDs and 42% are actively integrating these technologies. Despite advancements, 46% of organizations still prioritize manual verification. Regions like the UAE show higher integration rates, while the US and Europe adopt a more cautious approach. Key concerns include data breaches at 50%, privacy issues at 44%, and potential technology failures at 35%. Addressing these concerns necessitates robust security measures and reliable systems. New tricks in the phishing playbook, Cloudflare workers, HTML smuggling, GenAI. Cybercriminals are adopting new phishing tactics to bypass modern defenses, including leveraging Cloudflare workers for hosting malicious content, employing HTML smuggling for payload delivery, and utilizing generative AI to craft effective phishing emails and obfuscate malware. Attackers are using HTML smuggling to inject iframes of legitimate login portals from actor-controlled domains and enabling MFA bypass adversary-in-the-middle attacks. Invoice-themed phishing campaigns using HTML attachments masquerading as PDF viewers are also on the rise. GenAI is being exploited to generate convincing phishing emails and deliver oversized malware payloads to evade detection. DNS tunneling techniques are utilized to track email interactions and scan victim networks. Additionally, malvertising campaigns are proliferating, tricking users into installing information stealers and remote access Trojans through malicious ads for popular software. Counterfeit pages mimicking financial institutions are used to deliver legitimate remote desktop software, granting attackers remote access.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter at CISOHeadlines.com. Until next time, stay curious.